Hi, everybody. I'm Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. Hopefully, today will be an inspiring show for anyone who feels like they need a change, want to change. We know it can be scary, but change can also be inspiring and freeing. So, coming up, we're going to talk to a very strong, smart woman who made a tough career change, but is still around the world of sports and so much more. My dear friend, Tracy Perlman. We will dive into that coming up.
Looking forward to this. I saw Tracy at a recent Aurora game. I'm really interested. Well, I know where she ended up. I'm really interested in our listeners finding out where she ended up and how she changed her career. This is Dawn of Sports. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. Best way to listen to this show or any show at talknorth.com. Please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. You should know the lineup by now. Dawn Mitchell, Mark Rosen, Michael Russo, John Krasinski, Alec Lewis, Jeff Diamond, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on and on. We have great people. Check out the podcast. We do appreciate it. Also check out Chin Music with Roy Smalley and Lavelle E. Neal III. Thanks to our many sponsors, including Natreum, Natreum.com, Minnesota Masonic Charities, and Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. Back to Dawn.
All right. Well, thank you. So without further ado, if you haven't listened to this podcast before, then perhaps you haven't met her. But if you are a friend of the show, as they say, Tracy Perlman, formerly of WCCO, where she was an executive producer for news as well as sports, is now, and I'm so proud to say this out loud, Director of Communications and Marketing at Xcel Energy Center, soon to be Grand Casino Arena and St. Paul River Center. That can't all fit on one card right now, Tracy. So I'm hoping the new business cards come out soon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't have a business card yet. I'm doing the digital thing right now. So you just keep scrolling and scrolling.
I was going to say, do people even do business cards anymore? I'm not even sure.
I don't, people have handed me theirs, but I tend to just exchange emails or give them a quick follow so I can send a DM later on. But yeah, it's a very long title, but one I'm really, really proud of. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about it and share a little bit about my world here in St. Paul now.
Oh, I'm so excited too. And, I started the show by saying, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Even if you're younger, change is so hard. And it's so scary, especially when you're leaving something that you've only known and that you love in terms of television. And what was that process like for you when you started thinking, I think I'm going to make a change? When does it kind of like, what do they say? Your hackles get up like, but I can't. TV is my home, I mean, that's so hard to make that. Yes. What do I do?
Yeah. And I think with so many jobs, the scary thing is that it becomes so much of your identity. And so, for so many people in my world, it was Tracy, she works at CCO. I was there 16 years. I worked in Kansas City before that for almost 2. And I'd always wanted to be in TV. That was always something that I had aspired to be. Was not necessarily on air, but I wanted to work in sports. I wanted to work in journalism. I wanted to share information with people and ask questions and also have access to parts of the city and places that not everybody gets to go and share that with everyone. So really for me, I would say during the pandemic, so much changed for everybody, right? And the way we were doing news changed, the way we lived our lives changed. And with that change, some changes became permanent and some didn't. And that's, personally and professionally. And it was kind of coming out of the pandemic, I started thinking, how else could I do my job? Like news had changed so much, local news, national news, the way people were getting their news. And it just felt like a change I wasn't sure about. I didn't feel as steady in. And then other changes started happening in the newsroom and around our community. And eventually it just sort of became, what else is out there? What else could I do? And that little scratch, the little itch started to itch more. And then suddenly I was scratching it and really scratching it. And then I was like, okay, I think I have to start looking. And a friend knew that I was starting to poke around and look at different opportunities and recommended this job when it became open. And it was perfect for me. It was communications, it was sports, it was entertainment, it was St. Paul. I'm a St. Paul girl. I grew up in Mendota Heights. One of my first jobs was actually at the XL Energy Center. I was an usher and a ticket taker. Yeah.
Wow.
So the world works in weird ways. I was also an intern at CCO. So I'm joking. I'm only taking jobs that I've previously had at this point. So if you know of any Champ sports bars that are open and looking for a hostess or waitress, that'll be my next career.
They're making a comeback.
They are. I know. You know what? The fries and seasoned sour cream are just A+, and I will live on that hill. But it just, everything really clicked together, but it was still really scary. Like, am I really doing this? Am I really applying for this job? Am I really thinking I could leave news? Am I going to go? Is it going to happen? And it did. And I was in disbelief that I had done it until the day I started here.
Wow.
And I walked in and was okay, I'm here. And it's been so much fun. It's been such a cool job. It's been so great to be a part of the name change for the arena. You know, as you said, we're going from XL Energy Center to Grand Casino Arena, which has been really exciting to be a part of that. The St. Paul River Center, the convention center, we also manage for the city, being a part of all their big events. We're doing a rebrand. We touch Roy Wilkins Auditorium as well. They haven't had as many events, but, where I'm involved with that too. And so it's really fun. And I started after the Wild season was done, but the Frost was still going. So I got to help promote Frost games. We do some stuff with the Wild too. So I still get to do sports. I still get to bring people entertainment and information. And I'm so happy here, really so happy.
Oh, it was almost like carbon crafted for you, And how many times did you naysay in the back of your mind? They always say, and no offense, Jim and Alex on our show, they always say guys will apply for a job even if they fit one or two of the criteria. And women, I don't know if I should. I only have 10 out of the 12. Yeah. How did you get over that?
It's so true. And I've heard that same stat, and I had to say it to myself all the time. Men apply for jobs they aspire to. Women apply for jobs that they qualify for. Uh-huh. And I had to remind myself that part of the reason I was leaving news was I wanted to find new opportunities. I wanted to find a new way to tell stories, a new way to connect with people, a new way to present information in a way that felt authentic to me, in a fun way, in a vibrant way, and on a big scale. And so this job, it was kind of vague in the description, what is a communications and marketing director? And you're doing an arena and kind of a hockey team sometimes, and you're doing trade shows and galas at the River Center. It was just this big encompassing job, and I didn't really know what it all meant. There was also a sales aspect to it when it comes to marketing. You're buying and selling ads, you're working with promoters. So there was a whole bunch of things that I didn't necessarily know. I knew I could learn, and I knew I would be taught, but I also knew that I brought a lot to the table. And so I leaned into that, and I leaned into, these were people I had worked with on the TV side, but instead of receiving their emails and their pitches, I would just be sending them out. So I like to think that I'm also teaching my team a lot. I've got 5 people that report to me. And we spend a lot of time talking about developing storylines when we're pitching. What are the visuals going to be? What's the hook going to be for the public? Why is this interesting? So it's the same conversations that are happening in a newsroom, but, for an arena instead.
And I want to talk to the listeners out there that are saying, well, I don't really even know what a news producer does. What does a producer do, right? They get confused. A movie producer is totally different than what news producers do. Where in the movies, producers come up with the cash, they come up with that.
Yeah.
So just a glimpse behind the scenes. If you were watching anything on CCO, let's just go recently when Joe Mauer went to the Hall of Fame, all of that coverage was orchestrated, organized, set up by you. I mean, you went on the road, you knew Joe, you set up all that stuff, you knocked it out of the park.
Thank you.
And then after that, just aside from that, not even CCO, the Diamond Awards, if anyone had noticed, moved to a brand new you know, we won't even say the name of the arena now because you work at a different one.
Yes, but it was a smaller arena.
Armory.
It was the Armory. I'll say it. It was at the Armory.
just joking, but you brought that to life. Like the Diamond Awards became this extravaganza, and
Thank
so
you.
for people listening, that's what you do. You organize things, and of course you'll write the copy for it and the scripts and the whatnot. But it's not just that. As you are calling people, you're organizing, you're getting the times going, you're doing it all. I like to say that the orchestra leader, but you also
event
write the
planner.
music.
Yeah. You're doing all that. You're writing the scripts, you're coordinating travel, you're figuring out the hotel rooms, you're setting up interviews, you're helping carry gear. We all know how important that is when you're out on the road with a photographer. You're also playing security person when Dawn, it's happened when we've been out. You walk through a tailgate and Dawn Mitchell gets mobbed because everyone's so excited to see her in real life. And you get to be the bad guy and say, no. She'll have to sing Sweet Caroline another time. We have to get going.
That's Jim.
Yeah. And so, so you do all those different things. And now, as the marketing person, we're helping promote the show. So let's take, we've got Nate Bargatze coming up here, July 26th and 27th. We've got him for 2 nights, which is huge. He has a new book out. It's going to be such a fun show. And they added the second night because the first night did so well. But so we find out, anywhere from a couple months to a couple weeks ahead that they're coming. And we start to put together a plan of, okay, how are we going to promote it? What are we going to do when he's here? How are we going to get fans excited? Then the tickets go on sale and we start blasting it out everywhere. His team came back, we say, will he do interviews with people? So then we put together interview requests. If there's a pre-party before the show, we organize that. We get all of our artists gifts, specialized, personalized gifts. We almost always get them a wild jersey. We find out what they're into. We might do something unique for them. James Taylor had a puppy party. Rough Start Rescue came and brought puppies for him. We got him a custom leather guitar strap that was made up from Leech Lake Leather Works up north. Beautiful custom thing. We put out treats in the back. We make them feel as welcome as they can, coming in and out of all these venues. And then it's game time, right? We want people to come in. We want them to be excited. We want them to get food and drink and be settled in their seats and know, how parking's going to work. How are their tickets going to scan? Where's the merch tables? And so we're really like soup to nuts for these shows. And so it's been a lot of fun. It's really been cool to see how things come together. I'm fascinated with our stagehands, how they're able to tear a stage down, get one set up, do the mic checks. We had Monster Jam this last weekend, and seeing them haul in 40 truckloads of dirt was insane. And then they let us climb into one of the trucks with the pit crew to experience that. So there's just really, I keep saying it's really fun. It's just been really fun. And so cool. And my brain, my producer brain, my TV brain is always thinking, how do we share this with the viewer? How do we get a reporter in one of these cars? How do we get Nate Bargatze to do an interview with anchors so that, people can hear from him if they can't come to the show, or to remind them to come and get tickets to the show. He's doing a second show here for you guys. Come see him. So it's kind of pulling all those strings and doing all that. And, there's spreadsheets and math and things that I haven't had to do in TV. So that's been new and exciting. But I'm like, oh, numbers. Oh, no, I do words. But it's fun to get to think, okay, we've got a tattoo festival coming to River Center. How do we promote that? Who wants to get a tattoo live on TV? Who can I do this with? Jim, would you like a tattoo, a Star Tribune tattoo, perhaps?
No, but thanks for asking.
Okay. Will you guys just let me know? I will find somebody to do that for you.
Are they permanent? Are they for real tattoos? Not
it would be
a
for real. It would be a for real
tattoo.
tattoo. I'd be happy to Sharpie something on you too, if you would prefer that. My art skills are okay.
If you could do it on my eyelid, I think I'd take it.
Challenge accepted. See, that's the other fun part of my job. I mean, Right now, we're talking about the World Junior Classic coming up. It's here December 26th through January 6th. And it's 10 or 11 countries coming in town, 10 countries coming here, competing. This is like, I'm trying to think, it's almost like a, it's not
we
a
know what the
tryout, it's a
juniors are
showcase.
like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but there's the hockey tryouts or the games, the competitions happening, and then you've got a fan fest, and there's an event outside in Rice Park, and we're trying to figure out right now, like the planning starts months ahead of time.
Right.
And what does the fan engagement look like? How do we get people involved? How do we get people excited? How, what do people expect from us, with the event, as part of the host committee or the host venue? So it's been a fun practice and to flip my brain, from receiving that information to now putting it out and doing it. Because Dawn, how many times have you gotten a pitch to something and you're like, yeah, that's cool, but it would be so much cooler if I could do this, that, or the other thing. And now I get to be like, guys, you know what we should do? Let's do a zip line. And they're like, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, it could be cool. It could be cool. Like, get someone to sign off on it.
But see, if people, I know you in real life, you even are producing in real life. Like if you're going to a party, like, oh, they really should have put that over there when you walk in to make this more friendly, and then something up over there. You have to shut it off, right? You're like, okay, I'm producing the party. I gotta.
I'm the worst, but I'm a good organizer. So if you want a fun weekend somewhere, invite me. We'll have dinner reservations. We'll have tickets. We'll have ride coordination, pickup, drop off. Yeah, my brain's always working that way, juggling so many different plates.
Let me step in and take care of the business more with Tracy Perlman and Dawn Mitchell and our producer, Alex Haugen, here in a second. Dawn always kind of laughs at my enthusiasm for promoting Natreum. I just want to say I never thought I would be the kind of person who used this type of product. Not that I ever had anything against that idea or the industry or the ingredients. I just didn't think it wasn't something I ever thought about.
You just didn't fall in love yet.
I hadn't fallen in love with it yet. I hadn't tried it yet.
And now you have that loving glow every time you talk about this.
Well,
the loving glow.
Because it works. And someone who is kind of high stress and has ADD and brain is always churning. When I get to a point of the day where I can take a break, it just, I like having a cocktail every now and then. I can't drink every night. It messes with my sleep. It leaves me feeling, groggy and sometimes with a headache when I wake up. It's just really nice to have stuff that is natural, that feels good, that improves my quality of life. And, what I really use, Natreum.com. By the way, I have a promo code for you. TalkNorth15 will get you 15% off your next order at Natreum, Natreum.com, Natreum. Right now I'm using their balms for muscle and joint soreness. I also they have quick fix stuff that'll help you through it. If you have a stressful situation coming up, they have oil for gut health. And they also have stuff that's just fun and that tastes good. So I would go to Natreum.com, check out what they have. Use the promo code TalkNorth15 to order whatever you like, or go to the St. Louis Park store, check things out, talk to an expert, find out exactly what works for you. I just highly recommend it. Makes your life better. How many products can you say that about? It just makes your life better. We also want to tell you about another great Minnesota company, Minnesota Masonic Charities.
When people think of the Freemasons, they often think of secret handshakes and unusual hats, and of course, the pancake breakfast. Minnesota Masonic Charities would prefer that you think about the work that they do right here in our community. Places like the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota or the Masonic Children's Hospital and the Masonic Home in Bloomington. They are just a few examples of the important work that the Freemasons support here in Minnesota. As part of the largest fraternal organization in the world, Masons have consistently answered the call when it comes to charitable needs. I am happy that Minnesota Masonic Charities has chosen Minnesota Bound and this podcast as a place to help spread the word. We look forward to learning so much more about their many programs here in the weeks to come.
And here's Talk North star John Krasinski for Lexus, Wayzata, and Maplewood. Back to Dawn.
All right. Well, Tracy, for people who were beginning to listen at the beginning of this and we're like, okay, let's talk a little bit more about the scariness of this change. What advice would you give first of all, to the women out there that are thinking, A, I'm not qualified enough, and B, just in general to, there's young men out there that are like, I don't know, I just bought a condo, I don't know if I want to risk it and try something different. What advice do you have?
I leaned a lot on my network, professionally and personally. I kept the network small as well. And so, I talked with my parents, I talked with my best friends, I talked with a couple mentors that I had professionally. And I also talked to people that were in this business and in this world that I'm in right now with sports and marketing. And I really wanted to understand what the job was, that I wasn't going to just leave news to leave news. And I did my homework on what types of jobs are there out there? What does a marketing job look like? What does, sport? I think sometimes, especially when you think like sports marketing, people think like, oh, you're going to be in the locker room, you're going to be best friends with people. And it's like, no, you may or may not talk to an athlete at all. And that's kind of how it was with this job too. I'm not necessarily with the Wild, directly with the Wild, but, I'm not rubbing elbows with every celebrity and A-lister that comes through the building. I may not even see them on stage given my schedule and their, when they're performing. So I really wanted to understand the job. And then I thought about, well, what's the best thing that would happen if I stayed? What's the worst thing that would happen if I stayed? And then I did the same for what's the best thing, what would happen if I left, and what's the worst thing, right? And then I really got a better idea of what options I had in front of me. And I'm a list person. I like to know all my options before I make a decision. And so that gave me peace of mind moving forward. And I've had a couple friends have the same conversation with me, like, I don't know if I want to leave. I don't know if I'm ready to leave. For me, I'm not married. And, I have a house, I have my dog, I've got bills and responsibilities. And if something goes awry and I'm not getting paid, I'm the only one who can pay my bills. I didn't have a safety net or a partner to help, kind of fill that gap. So I was very scared about what it meant. And I needed to make sure that I was making the right move for the right reason. And once I felt secure in that, it just became looking for jobs. And as I was looking, like we said, I was looking for jobs that I could aspire to. They were things I knew I could do. They were areas I knew I could handle, but I wanted to make sure that there was also going to be a growth opportunity for me, because I did feel like at a point in news, I wasn't learning anymore. I wasn't trying anything new. I was kind of using the same tricks and the same formula for most of my day, whether it was breaking news or a special project. And so I wanted something that was going to challenge me. And I was looking for those opportunities. And then again, with the professional network, it was talking to people. What skills do you see I have that I may not realize? I knew I was good at communicating, but I didn't realize how much other people valued that in me, or my organizational skills of being able to put together a timeline, send out a project, have it be clear with the instructions. I just assumed because it was easy for me, it's easy for everybody. And I've really learned that that's not the case. So they helped me see what skills I had. And then it was just applying for the jobs. And jobs, I think we forget, are kind of like dating, where you can apply, but at any point, you as the candidate can also say no, and can also say, this isn't the right fit for me. And just because I applied for your job does not mean I am required to have it. And I've talked to a couple friends about that, because they're like, well, I don't know, I applied and I don't really know if I want it or not. And I'm like, well, there's only one way you're going to find out if you want this job. And if you want to work with the people that are offering you the job and work with the people who are on the team, is by going in and showing up for the interview. That's the point of an interview. Both of you have to like each other and feel like you can benefit from that, relationship. And so I've here with St. Paul Arena Company, with the Wild, with the River Center, with the Excel Energy Center, soon to be Grand Casino Arena, I very much felt at home. I loved my conversations with everybody. I loved their leadership structure. I like the way that they do business, and it really felt comfortable to me, and it felt like the right thing for me. And I'm so glad that they felt the same way about that. But I've had friends that have gone through the interview process and they get the offer and then they're like, I just don't have a good feeling about this. And it's like, well, you get to say no. You get to say, this may not be the right fit, but if something else comes up and things change, let's talk. So that
it's
was
not
my
you,
process.
It's me, right? It's not you, it's me.
Right. Like nothing's ever going to be 100% perfect with anything. But I think having the clear mindset and the goal of knowing what you want out of the career, to me, a job isn't just something that I'm able to perform and turn out for the company, but I want to make sure I'm getting something out of it. Am I getting personal development? Am I feeling fulfilled with the projects? Am I enjoying the people that I'm working with and believing in the company that I'm working for? And those boxes are all checked for me. So I feel good about it. And that's, I had my non-negotiables, again, like you do in dating or like when you're buying a house, right? Like,
deal breakers,
what your deal breakers are. Right.
You know what I love hearing too, and I think everyone out there, me included, have a hard time sometimes saying, this is what I'm good at. This is my strength.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to come across like you have an ego, but to know what your strength is and then to really own it and say, this is what I'm really good at. And this is where I can add value to your company. You have to be confident enough to say that.
Yeah. And that's where you need your friends or you need your circle, of executive board members. Sometimes people call them or, like your trust bank. But, and Dawn, you're one of those people for me when we had talked in the past about like, well, what am I good at? I know I can write news copy, but does that translate into other fields? Or as a person, I'm just a happy, jolly, cheerful person. Does that come across when I'm at work or and so you sometimes have to do those check-ins, but you really do have to look at what you enjoy. And chances are the things that you enjoy are the things that you're really good at. Few people who love to paint or play music also hate doing it if they're very good at it. And so, you look at those skills and is it communication? Is it math? Is it organization? Is it arranging? Is it conflict resolution? Like everyone has those skills. And by asking your mentors, your peers, people that you can trust, that's how you find them. And then you just have to be confident in it and presenting that to a company or to a future employer or when you're networking to say, it's scary to say like, hey, I might be looking for something new. Do you know of something or someone that I should talk to? And I've done a ton of informational interviews for people in the past who wanted to get into news. Dawn, we often pass people's names back and forth to one another after you talk to a college student or a recent grad. And it's like, oh, I know someone you should talk to. Mm-hmm. And sometimes having those conversations, you also realize what your strengths are because you realize why people are sending those people to you. She's really good at networking. Ask her about that. She's really good at live shots. You should really talk to Dawn about that. So I think that's important to remember too, to just use your relationships and leverage your friendships and relationships that way.
Well, I am so excited that you're going to be really thrown into the world of hockey since ever since I can remember, third or fourth grade, I'm a hockey lover. People might say, oh, people automatically just, assume that, oh, you're one thing, like you're Vikings, or for you, you're Twins, right?
Yeah.
But like my love has always been hockey growing up. I got my first television in my bedroom, I think in like fifth grade, so that I could watch the Bruins games growing up. Don't boo me when you're listening. I'm from New England. But
you're allowed.
my mom, I'm allowed. I loved my Bruins. But, the rule of thumb was, because there's, a lot of people in our house. I have 4 brothers. They're my parents. We had 3 dogs at one point. I could not yell when they scored a goal. My mom would say I knew it was the right thing to do because I could hear you go, yes! Like this little girl voice up there going, yes! And my mom would be listening to it downstairs on the radio or something. That was her thing. So the fact that not only do you have world championships coming up and you get the Wild, you're going to be totally engrossed in that. And and I know you love hockey anyway, but now that you're going to be around it, it just kind of like fills my heart with joy. But
it's so cool.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And we're celebrating 25 years. And like I said, when I was an usher here, my job, how weird is this? My job was to stand at the media gate and take Sid Hartman from the media gate down to catering, up to the press box, down to Jacques Lemaire's interviews. And, all these years later, here I am, right back here, and I had worked with Sid. We spent a lot of time together at the ballpark. And so it's cool. And it's, to be back in this building 25 years later is really neat. It's going to be an exciting season. I was here for the first game. I remember I was here for the first North Stars game too, when they came to town. And I'm really excited to be here for this next era of first with Grand Casino Arena, whether it's the first concert with Jason Aldean or our first hockey game. And I will know the schedule soon. I think it's coming out soon.
Are there any nicknames that you are allowed to call Grand Casino Arena yet?
I will be calling it Grand Casino Arena. But I have heard, I've heard people and some friends call it the Grand. Mm-hmm. Some people, GCA. I've heard the Jackpot because the logo's got, the big jackpot on it.
Yeah.
But you know what? People call Target Center. They call Target Field, US Bank Stadium. So I think, the X has a nice catchy name to it, but I'm not as concerned with people. The fans will get to choose the nickname. You don't get to pick your own nickname, right?
That's right.
So
that's right.
I'm going to let the fans call it what they want. I'm going to keep selling them tickets, and we're going to keep putting on amazing world-class events, and we're going to keep getting great shows here. We're going to keep getting great events here, and keep doing that, and really just being a fun place for people to come and enjoy in St. Paul.
I have been fascinated with how easily here in Minnesota, we do assimilate to new names. I thought Huntington, would be so hard to say over at the U, but now it's so easy,
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing was getting used to first when it was, oh my God, TCF.
TCF, yeah.
Because I'm like, TCF, because I was like, okay, remember that. And then, wow, next thing you know, you're not even calling it that anymore. Maybe once in a while, old people like me,
yes,
maybe Jim, but when I was back home, it was always the Garden. Mm-hmm. Even when it was the Fleet Center for a heartbeat, it was the Garden. So
it's still,
now it'll always be the Garden, but it's different.
People say that, and it's like, okay, you can. I'm not going to change people's minds. You do you, right?
You do you.
I'm gonna call it Grand Casino Arena starting September 3rd. That's when the official name changes, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. We've got some, it's not just a name change. We're making a lot of other changes with things.
Oh, so, like what? Anything you can share?
I can't say because they're not all public, but I think there will be some elevated experiences. Nice. And some cool new opportunities. We're going to do some fun stuff out at the fair to help share the name, promote some of the shows. So we'll be at the Wild booth out at the fair. We are going to have a big public launch party on September 3rd. We'll share more details about as that comes out as well. And so I think, I know people were hoping for slot machines. Like, we can't do that. We're not doing that. But but we're hoping to do more
money out. Just throw money out.
Yeah. You're welcome to, to do that and then come on down. We go up to Hinckley or up to Onamia and then come down here. But it's a naming rights thing, right? And so so we're the venue, and we, there's a certain level of sports and entertainment that I think people expect when you combine the arena with Grand Casino, and the investment that both are making to the city and to the state and to really downtown is huge. And so we're hoping to really elevate the concert experience on our end of things and have a great fan experience all the way around when people come here.
Oh, great. That's fantastic. That is. And I'm glad that you're on the ground floor, the grand ground floor of this whole project. But Tracy, before I let you go, what is the coolest thing now that you're out of TV that you love that with this brand? It could be in the job. It could be what it opens up anymore. Like, what's like one of the biggest pluses for you that you can share?
For me, it sounds so silly, but you guys will understand this. I have like a set schedule now.
What?
So I know, like, if I have a meeting in the morning, I have a meeting, and then my meetings are done. And TV, you're kind of at the whim of what's happening. And the adrenaline of that is so fun. And I think for so long, it's exciting. And when there's breaking news, it's like you jump into action and you're ready to go. And you never really knew what each day brought. And now, and it's taken me a while to settle into, oh, I have an 8 o'clock meeting. Okay, I got to get ready. I got to be there by 8. Most days I start at 9. Traffic's unpredictable for me because I'm coming from the Minneapolis side of town to come to St. Paul every day. But having a set schedule has been really nice. And then also I enjoy watching the news again because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know every detail of every story. And so I do feel strangely more plugged in because it's so much more intentional, seeking out multiple channels, reading different newspapers, finding different outlets to find out, to follow on social media. And so it's really a much more of a choose your own adventure when it comes to news. And I enjoy that because I've always loved the discovery of reading an article and figuring out more pieces of that puzzle. So that's become real enjoyable again.
Oh, well, Tracy, that just warms my heart. That warms my heart. Well, thank you for being such an inspiration for, first of all, when we had you on at CCO, and then just kind of showing the way of what people can do there. And then just shining a light now that if you want to make the change, and it can be so amazing. And I'm just so proud of you. I'm really proud of you.
Thank
and
you
for being a strong woman.
I appreciate that. And it comes down to, having a strong base of friends and taking that advice. I just listened to the episode you did with Kat Perkins last week, and she talks about being fearless and learning to pivot. And a lot of that resonated with me. So I'm just going to back plug. If you haven't listened to that episode with Kat Perkins, go back and listen to it because she shares some really good advice too on all of this. And so it's been fun.
Producer.
It was scary but fun. I know. Always marketing. Always plug it.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. And you know what? In my brain, you said pivot. And I'm like, pivot. I just keep thinking of that Friends episode. Pivot. All right.
This is why we're friends. Yep. This is why we're friends.
My brain is like, pivot.
Yeah.
Oh, Tracy Perlman, thank you so much. Again, the new title, until it becomes a little shorter. You're the Director of Communications and Marketing at Xcel Energy Center, soon to be the Grand Casino Arena. And of course, St. Paul River Center. We don't forget about St. Paul River Center. They're fantastic. Mm-hmm. So Tracy, thank you for leading the way and doing it. I'm telling you, anyone who watches The Bear, if you see Natalie as Sugar, that's the sister, that is Tracy, the biggest heart, the one that keeps the glue together. There's so many things back and forth. And this, I'm not going to give away this season because I know you're still watching it, but her heart and her love for the people she cares about comes across. And that is you, Tracy Perlman. Thank you so much.
Thank you.